The road to Willow Creek stretched endlessly, a ribbon of cracked asphalt cutting through golden fields. The late summer sun leaned low, burning the horizon orange as Cole Maddox guided his pickup down the empty highway. Dust trailed behind him, curling like ghosts in the mirror. He had left everything behind 2 years ago. The ranch, the rodeo circuit, the noise of people who said they cared. Out here, silence was easier. No one asked questions. No one mentioned the name he tried to forget. When he reached the outskirts of town, he slowed near an old gas station. The place hadn't changed much. Same faded Coke sign, same pump squealing like it hated its job. As he filled his tank, he noticed movement across the road, a small figure, sitting on the curb beside the general store, hugging her knees. A girl, couldn't have been older than 10. Her hair was tangled, clothes dusty, one shoe missing. She looked up for a split second, and that glance caught him like a spur to the heart. Big blue eyes, swollen under one side. A bruise. Cole turned back to the pump, jaw tightening. Not his business. He'd promised himself, no more rescuing anyone. People came with stories, and stories came with pain. He finished fueling, climbed back into the truck, but the rearview mirror betrayed him. The girl hadn't moved. She just sat there, small and still, like she'd run out of tears long ago. He cursed under his breath, turned the key halfway, then let it fall silent. Damn it, he muttered and stepped out again. Across the street, the girl flinched when he approached. Hey, he said softly, crouching a few feet away. You lost, kid. She shook her head, eyes darting to the store door. No, sir, you got someone inside. Her lips trembled. My stepdad. That word hit harder than he expected. You okay? She hesitated, then whispered, he told me to wait. Said if I move, he'll. She stopped, choking on fear. Cole glanced toward the store. A man was inside arguing with the cashier, voice rough and slurred. The kind of tone that made your gut twist. He looked back at the girl. What's your name? Leela. All right, Leela. You stay right here. I'll be back. No, please, she gasped. Don't make him mad. Please don't beat me. I'm already hurt. The words cracked like dry wood. Something inside Cole shifted, that old wound deep beneath his ribs reopening. He'd heard those words once, from someone he hadn't been able to save. He took a slow breath, stood up, and pushed open the store door. The bell chimed. The man inside turned, broad shoulders, sunburned face, anger simmering just under the skin. What the hell you lookin' at? Cole didn't answer. He stepped closer, steady but calm. The man smelled of whiskey and sweat, a belt looped loose at his side. That your girl outside? Cole asked. None of your damn business. It is if you're the reason she's scared to breathe. The man laughed, a rough sound. She needs discipline. Ain't your place, cowboy. Cole's fingers flexed. She's a child, not a punching bag. In one motion the man lunged forward, but Cole moved faster, years of rodeo reflexes and bar fights colliding into a single instinct. He twisted the man's wrist, forcing the belt from his grip, and shoved him against the freezer door. The sound echoed. You ever touch her again, Cole said quietly, you'll wish you hadn't. The cashier stared, frozen. Cole stepped back, letting the man slide down in humiliation. He tossed a 20 on the counter. For the mess, he muttered, and walked out. Leela stood where he'd left her, small hands trembling. He's gonna be mad, she whispered. Not tonight, Cole said. Come on, you hungry? She nodded slowly, like the word itself felt strange. He opened the passenger door. Hop in. As they drove toward the edge of town, Leela kept glancing behind, expecting to see headlights chasing them. Cole didn't speak for a while, letting the hum of the engine fill the air. Finally he said, you got somewhere safe to go. No, he sighed. You got a mom. She left when I was little. He says she didn't want me. Cole's throat tightened. People say a lot of things that ain't true. She looked at him, suspicious. Why are you helping me? He didn't have an easy answer. Guess I was in the neighborhood. Leela smiled for the first time. Faint but real. It hit him harder than he expected. When they reached his ranch, an old, quiet place tucked behind a line of cottonwoods, he parked and said, "You can stay here tonight. Guest room's clean. You live here alone?" "Yeah, me and a few stubborn horses." Inside, the house smelled like coffee and hay. Leela's eyes widened at the photos on the wall. Cowboy trophies, newspaper clippings from his rodeo days. "You were famous?" she asked. "Used to be. Don't mean much now." She touched one frame where he held a trophy and a woman stood beside him, smiling. "Who's that?" He froze. "No one," he said quietly, turning away. As Leela settled on the couch with a blanket, he stood by the window, watching the dark swallow the fields. He'd sworn off caring, sworn off saving anyone, but tonight, the silence of his life felt heavier, like it had been waiting for this one small voice to break it. Outside, a coyote howled. Leela stirred, murmuring something in her sleep, words he could barely hear but would never forget. "Please don't beat me, I'm already hurt." He closed his eyes, jaw clenched. Somewhere deep down, the silent cowboy began to change. Sunlight spilled across the dusty floorboards, chasing away the shadows that had crept in overnight. Cole Maddox stood on the porch with a mug of black coffee, staring at the quiet horizon. The ranch was still, except for the soft nickering of horses and the distant hum of cicadas. Inside, he could hear Leela breathing softly on the couch, finally sleeping without fear. For a long time he just listened, wondering how a world could be cruel enough to break a child and still keep turning like nothing happened. When she woke, she padded out in one of his old flannel shirts, sleeves rolled twice her size. "Morning," she whispered. He nodded toward the kitchen. "There's pancakes. Don't tell anyone. I got a reputation for being mean." Her giggle cracked the silence like sunlight through storm clouds. She sat at the table, eating slow, careful, like she expected the food to vanish. "Are you gonna send me back?" she asked finally. Cole leaned against the counter. "Not unless you want me to." "I don't," she said quickly, voice small but certain. He studied her face, the bruise fading, but the fear still deep in her eyes. He knew that kind of fear. It didn't wash off easy. "You got anyone you trust? A teacher, maybe?" She shook her head. "No one ever listens." Cole sighed, rubbing the back of his neck. He wasn't built for this. Fixing fences, training horses, that he could handle. Healing a broken child, that was another rodeo entirely. But something in her voice pulled him forward, the same way the sound of a hurt animal used to when he was a boy. He went out to the barn, needing air. The smell of hay and leather steadied him. That's when he heard the sound of tires crunching on gravel. A truck, not his. Through the slats of the barn door, he saw it, an old, dented Ford pulling up fast, engine rattling like anger itself. The man from the store climbed out, eyes red, jaw tight. "Leela," he shouted, "you think you can hide, you little brat." Cole stepped out before Leela could appear. "She ain't hiding," he said evenly. The man's eyes narrowed. "You again, cowboy hero, huh? You got no right keepin' my kid." Cole walked down the steps, calm but firm. "She's not safe with you." The man laughed, but there was no humor in it. "Safe? You think you can protect her? You don't even know her name. Till yesterday. She's my blood. Blood don't mean a damn thing if your hands keep leaving bruises." The man's jaw twitched. "You think you're better than me, Maddox. I know who you are. Saw your face in the papers. Big rodeo star who killed a man in Amarillo." The words hit like a punch, but Cole didn't flinch. "That's old history. You should worry about the law coming for you, not my past." The man sneered. "Ain't no law out here that cares." He stepped forward, hand slipping behind his back, metal glinting. Cole's pulse slowed, the way it did before a bull charged. "Don't," he warned, but the man pulled the gun anyway.